This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Squarespace. What is going on, everybody? I'm Noah Kravitz. This is Ask the Buffalo. Today's Monday, August 29th, 2011, and this episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by our friends at Squarespace. John Rettinger is, he's not on vacation. He's working hard, but he's in Europe prepping for IFA over in Berlin, Germany, with a little bit of sightseeing, reader meetup, some other stuff going on there in London and in Paris before he heads over to Berlin, where he's going to be meeting up with some of the other Rev 3 folks to bring you just all kinds of hands down the best coverage possible from IFA. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I'm stepping in. Not that I could ever fill John's shoes or his chair. Well, I could probably fill his chair. I'm bigger than he is. But I'm stepping in to host Ask the Buffalo. So let's get right to it. Thanks for all your questions posted to the site and also via Twitter. All right, Fusey wants to know, F-U-S-C-I, Fusey, did I pronounce that correctly? Wants to know, what is your favorite gadget that you either lost or had it stolen from you? My favorite gadget that was ever lost or stolen. The first thing that came to mind, and I'm going to run with this one unless I think of something else. First thing that came to mind was my Discman, my Sony Discman, and my, they weren't like super high-end, but they were kind of fancy DJ style over-the-ear earphones that I had stolen from me out of my own house. I used to live in Brooklyn, and we had a house party one night, and let's just say things got a little out of control. Some people just kind of came into the party, and nobody knew who they were, but nobody asked, and I don't know, whatever. And anyway, some people wound up hanging out in my room upstairs. My backpack was on the floor. End of the night, my backpack's gone. It had my Discman and my earphones, and I wish I could remember what CD it was. It was probably like Kenny G's Greatest Hits, or no. But that's the one that comes to mind first, my favorite gadget that was either lost or stolen. I've broken a bunch of gadgets in my day, but that's a different story. CKim33615 wants to know, do you think anybody will ever make an Android phone called Data? I hope so, man. That is a fantastic idea. I want the data. Jake Pride asks, do you ever jailbreak any of your Apple mobile devices? Yeah, I have jailbroken iPhones and iPads in the past myself. Currently, I have an iPhone 4 that is not jailbroken. I have an iPad, the first generation iPad 1, that is jailbroken, and I jailbroke it specifically so I could test it out with the iCade. Do I have the iCade? I have the iCade right here. The little plug for the iCade. This thing won't even fit in frame. I'm too far away. It's a video game cabinet that it's a Bluetooth controller, and then it's just got a little plastic holder here to put your iPad in. And so this thing works, got a joystick and like 8 buttons there. This thing works officially with Atari's Greatest Hits. So yes, I have jailbroken devices before. Currently, iPhone 4, not jailbroken. iPad 1, jailbroken. Let's stay on the tablets here. Mr. Uberduck wants to know, do you think current Honeycomb tablets will be able to run Ice Cream Sandwich and later versions of Android? Yeah, I believe that most, if not all, of the current Honeycomb tablets are going to be eligible for an upgrade to ICS, Android 4. We think it's going to be Android 4, but Ice Cream Sandwich when it debuts officially later this fall. Not all, but I think most of them, and definitely this newer generation of dual-core Honeycomb tablets will be. As for beyond that, these things seem to have a shelf life of maybe 2 generations worth of devices are eligible for the latest upgrades. That's kind of a rough estimate. There's got to be, is there a name for that, like Moore's Law? Can we call it, did I coin it? Can we call it Krabby's Law? That new gadgets now have a shelf life of 2 major OS releases before they're no longer supported. I don't know, is that actually true? Anyway, I would think you're gonna get Ice Cream Sandwich support, and then there'll be a bunch of incremental updates, the way that you've had Froyo and Gingerbread, 2.2, 2.3, whatever. You'll see, if they call it 4.0, you can see some dot updates in there that you'll be eligible for when the next giant release comes along, whatever that is. We'll have to wait and see. Depends how long it takes to get there. Josias wants to know, what do you think of the Nexus Prime having a 720p screen when Apple said there's no need to go higher because the human eye can only see so much? Will it slow down the phone? Yeah, so the Nexus Prime, which is rumored, said, all but certain to be the next Nexus phone, and it'll probably be the first or one of the first ice cream sandwich phones coming out sometime this fall, probably in October, and the rumors are that it's going to have a 720p display, 1280 by 720 on a cell phone screen. Now, the thing is, when Apple's talking about the Retina display and the human eye can only see so much detail and that kind of thing, it's not just the number of pixels, but it's the size of the screen. And so you do the math and you figure out, in a screen of whatever, 3.5 inches, you've got a resolution of, 800 by 600. I'm just making these things up. And you do the math and you come up with a number of pixels per inch, PPI or DPI, dots per inch. So the whole Retina display thing is based on the numbers of pixels per inch. What I've been hearing about the Nexus Prime is that, yeah, it's going to have a 720p display, but it's going to be a really large screen, somewhere in the neighborhood of 4.6, 4.7. I'm even hearing a specific number, 4.65 inches, certainly greater than 4.5 inches is what I'm hearing. So on a display that big, you're not necessarily pushing the boundaries of the whole Retina thing like you would be if you cram that many pixels into a smaller screen like Apple did with the iPhone 4 and the 3.5 inch display. That being said, 720p HD on a cell phone, awesome on paper. How's it going to fly in person? Are people even going to be able to tell the difference? I don't know. We'll see. Squarespace is the fast and easy way to create a high quality blog, portfolio, or any kind of website. If you have questions or need help, Squarespace provides every member with amazing support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Start your website or blog by choosing from over 60 professionally designed templates. And then you can add content from your computer, iPhone, or iPad. Squarespace's mobile apps allow you to easily add entries and manage comments from anywhere. Many of the internet's highest traffic web pages are powered by Squarespace, not to mention many of the personal pages of Revision 3 hosts and personalities. Check out www.squarespace.com to get a 2-week free trial and 10% off. Just enter coupon code TECHNO8. That's TECHNO, the number 8. All right, and last but certainly not least, Bakwala Makwala. I think I said that right. I like that name. Bakwala Makwala asks, how did you meet Noah Kravitz and John Quach? So I think the question directed at John Rettinger. I'm going to flip it around. How did I meet John and John? Through doing this. I actually used to work at PhoneDog, some of you may know, and I actually used to work with John Q sometimes at PhoneDog. He did some stuff for PhoneDog as well, and so I knew him through working together there. And John Rettinger and I met through YouTube, basically. He obviously has been doing the YouTube thing for a long time under John for Lakers before Techno Buffalo launched. I was doing YouTube originally on my own channel, Krabby Krav, which then gave way to the PhoneDog channel. And John reached out to me, oh man, it was a couple years ago now, I guess. And I said, hey man, I'm a fan of your stuff. And I was like, yeah, me too. And we've got some, it's interesting, we've got some crossover audience, some of it's not crossover, but let's do a video together. Let's come up with an idea and do some kind of a video together and see what happens. So I think the first video we did was like an Apple rumors prediction thing, right? That would make sense. And we did that project together. He's a super great guy, as is John Q for that matter. John Q may be the nicest person on earth. He might be. I'll have to think about it. My mom probably before him, but it's close. And John R is not far behind either. I mean, just really lucky to work with the Buffalo folks, good people. Anyway, point being, John and I got to know each other a little bit through doing that project. We stayed in touch. And then, when I left my old gig, wasn't sure what I was going to do next, John and I got to talking, and it was like, wow, there's a chance to work together. Let's do it. And the fact that John Q was already here, made it all the sweeter. So there you go.